Hello all in the Gampa as well as on Zoom and YouTube. We will get started in just about one more minute. Okay, sorry. Who is translating today? Is it Maria? Maria, are you translating today? No? Sorry, hang on everyone. Who will be? Vincent, can you unmute the Kadampa Center Gampa? Can y'all hear me on Zoom? Yes, okay. So who is translating today? Maria, do you know? No. Oh, you're asking. I don't think we have a translator today. Okay, sorry, Maria, I misunderstood your question. Okay, I think we can get started, Khandala. Thank you for everyone's patience. Khandala, if you could put your, okay. Do you want to say what you're going to say before you do prostrations, or no? Say, okay. Khandala will be doing prostrations out of respect for the teaching. So for those who would like to join, please do.
There? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you very much for the technical support. If everybody could get out their gold prayer books, we're for the people that know me, whoops, wait a minute, where's, sorry, I thought 137 was,
Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha
not in my prayer book.
is 93.
93, it says foundation of all good qualities in my prayer book. And on 137, it says foundation of all good qualities. So, 73, that's, okay, so Lamo, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, but Lamo told me it was different than that, but good, we're on us, and when it comes to pages, I trust Lamo, like, the Pope speaking ex cathedra. So we're going to do something a little different today, which is we're going to begin the teachings, or not teachings, the talk, excuse me. There's no teachings. I'm giving a talk. With the prayers that we started the teachings with when Khensur Rinpoche was here. And the reason I would like to do that is on Wednesday night, the last time he spoke, he talked about why it was the custom to do these 3 teachings in particular. And the first, which is praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, was an appreciation to the Buddha for all of his great kindness, wisdom, and compassion in not just hanging out and enjoying his enlightenment, but sharing it with others. And the second is the foundation of all good qualities that we'll be doing. And the reason we're going to be doing that is that it's in 15 stanzas. Well, 15 times 4, in 60 lines, it covers the entire Lam Rim. And it's the only thing I have completely and successfully memorized besides about 3 mantras, including Vajrasattva, and that's it. And then the last one we'll do is Heart Sutra, and he reminded us about emptiness and impermanence and dependent origination and dependent arising is being the ground out of which all of this is possible moment to moment to moment. And Geshe tells the story about one of the lamas going into the marketplace, and Lhasa saying, who has emptiness for sale? I have emptiness for sale. I have emptiness for sale. Just to plant the seed of the word emptiness into the mind streams of the shoppers, which would probably be really good. I think you'd be arrested if you went to Crabtree Valley Mall right now and started saying, who's got emptiness for sale, or I have emptiness for sale. But you can imagine the number of imprints you could make. So maybe circumambulate Crabtree Valley Mall, or and whisper it loudly. So we're going to start with praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. And you can sit quietly and listen. You can say it with me, whatever works best for your mind stream. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect acknowledgement in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate and make offerings and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sagata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide, it means to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. It's 3 times, right? Yeah, okay. When, O Supremo, amongst humans you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure body's form, supremely pure, wise ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior, having great compassion, the Founder, having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, and all aspects, with supreme faith, I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the foe of faults, be delivered from samsara's oceans, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. And page 93 is the foundation of all good qualities. Oh, and okay. So it's also 193 in this book. So it's twice. It must be very important. Okay. Foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth, found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me to always be careful to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsaric pleasures, a door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distraction to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, Please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have been firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy and never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus show the noble path, and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. We can't project, oh, okay, no, doesn't matter. We don't need to, everybody's got a prayer book. Okay, and so the Heart Sutra is on page 70, bottom of page 76. That's okay, don't worry about it. I mean, since everybody's got a prayer book, we're good. Oh, I prostrated the Arya triple gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on massive Vulture's Mountain in Rajgira, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage of daughter of the lineage who practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. No eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual forms, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging, death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted phenomena, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscurations and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the 3 times also manifestly completely awaken to the unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared: Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasgate Samgate Bodhi Soha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from the concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that. It is like that one should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattvas, the Mahasattvas, the Arya Alvikeshvara, and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. Let's see. And I'm going to just finish reading with extensive dispelling. And I and all surrounding sentient beings go for refuge to the Buddha, go for refuge to the Dharma, go for refuge to the Sangha. We prostrate to the great Mother Prajnaparamita, wisdom gone beyond, surrounded by all the children and by the assemblies of Buddhas. By depending on my prostrations to all of you, may these words of truth be actualized. In the past, the Deva king Indra dispelled the Maras, evil beings, by reflecting on the profound meaning of the wisdom gone beyond and resounding the profound words in daily recitation. In the same way, I also reflect on the profound meaning of the great Mother Prajnaparamita and recite the profound words in daily recitation. May all diseases and spirit possessions and bad conditions, all the negative directions that which happens due to past karma and immediate conditions, may all these be dispelled. May it become non-existent. May it be pacified. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So, and Linda, can we go back to the pictures? Yeah. Oh, we'll just leave it. What? It's. Okay, so in other words, the cable has crapped out.
Well, it might come back.
Well, okay. Well, that hindrance wasn't eliminated, was it? Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, we have some great pictures, but it's not.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask, well, Techno Guru here will see what his magic fingers will do. But the pictures aren't, I'm attached to them, but they aren't essential. So the first thing we need to do Monday morning is order a cable, right? Well, I bet you it's doable. Okay. Now, well, just tell a little thing. One of the things I was thinking this morning as I stopped to get coffee on the way here, that I was treated to, which was really pretty wonderful, was that I was so sorry to see Khensur Rinpoche and the monks go, partly because I was just sorry to see them go, but partly because it meant I wouldn't be getting any more tea. But out of her great compassion and kindness and wisdom, Patty came in and said, "You want tea?" And I said, "You have tea?" And she said, "Yeah, I brought you tea." And so, I don't know, I'm probably burning a lot of good karma rejoicing in this manifesting, but there you go. I'm still going to enjoy it. Okay, so shall we just give it up? Okay, good enough, sure. So I originally Geshe-la was going to be away, and Khensur Rinpoche was going to be gone, and you know what I mean. He would have already come. You know, all the difficulties that happened with his all his difficulties that happened with his visa. I was going to be giving one of the first talks when Geshe-la went away, which would have been very close when I got back from New York State. So I was going to do a version of the dreaded essay, which is what you did on your summer vacation, which I always dreaded. I don't know if anybody, I'm probably very old and they don't make kids do that anymore, but And so people ask me, and this is a lead into the teachings, I promise, the talk about Khensur Rinpoche. The people ask me frequently why I go north whenever I can for 3 months. Partly is because I don't like the heat, but partly because I think all of us in some way or another, and I suggest this because Geshe-la talks about any place that we practice becomes a sacred space. And what I feel that happened over this last month with Khensur Rinpoche is that this place has become very sacred over the years since we've moved in, with all of the practices that are done here, both communally and individually as people come to circumambulate, and the dedicated work that happens in the office to make all of this possible, that it has become a sacred place. And but I think it's even more so. But one of the reasons I go north is I think all of us have a physical, spiritual home, a place that, when we walk into, sometimes that we just diffuse. And for me, it's the St. Lawrence River and the environs up there. And so I wanted to show you a picture of the river so you kind of had a clue what I was talking about. But there's water, that's good. It's not the river, I assure you. But I wanted to read something that will lead into kind of, it is my place for having emptiness come to mind at least 100 times a day. Now, do I understand emptiness even intellectually? Not a prayer, but at least not so far. There's a quote from Joseph Campbell, which is, "Your sacred places where you can find yourself over and over again." And this is from an artist from up there. "My inner state seems to find its outer counterpart in the North Country. This region embodies a spiritual magnetism which continually draws me. To me, the area is pared down to the elementals. It was all created by glaciers." Okay. "Even during summer's peak, the blue sky, the leaves, the flowers, all seem quite temporary and precarious. The indefinable river, the ancient rocks, the subtle land modulations, and the ever-new sky reign supreme." And so that's the environment I get to be in, and supports me. So this past year, in 4 months, 4 people to whom I was, oops, we're almost at pictures? No, well, maybe not. Maybe yes, maybe not. Okay, so there's that one. That's the last one, right? Well, there it is. Okay, there's a picture of the river. That's one of my favorite swimming holes, by the way. And then that's the quote. So I have a community of people up there that I know, none of whom are Buddhist, but all have spiritual lives in some size, shape, form, or another. And from the end of April until August, 4 people died. The end of April, a woman that I had known for over 20 years, and who I and her partner had experienced the joy of cleaning out their septic system one time, died. She and Jim, Catherine and Jim, had been life partners for over 20 years. They were servants in the community beyond belief. And so that was a great loss for all of us that knew her, and particularly a loss for Jim. On June 3rd, Jim got a call that his sister was found dead. And Okay. 2 weeks later, people have gone up there for generations, and so parents ran with each other as kids, as you know, and then their kids ran with each other, and so Jim and Chris, two of the people, had been checking on a friend of theirs, Mary, who was just having a rough time. And when they checked on her one morning, she, you know, they thought she was sleeping late. And then, you know, a little while later, no response. So they thought, well, they started looking around, and they saw her swim stuff down near the water as if, you know, whatever. And well, they found her about an hour later, face down, floating in the water, bumping up against a dock. She'd gone swimming the day before, hit her head, and drowned. 4 weeks later, someone who had been a part of the community since he was 4 years old, and a great artist. Can you move the pictures on a little bit? Next one. That is one of his statues. That is, it's the statue itself is 9 feet tall. It's blue steel. He worked in metal. And it is in a place, it's near a gallery in the North Country, that he offered it to the land there. And you can go there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this year they put in a labyrinth. It is surrounded by Amish farmland, so there will not be any development there, and there's no noise of machinery. It's quite lovely. So, but that, and the reason that is connected is from the end of June until August 9th, when, and if you could move to the next picture, that's Will, the day before he died, when the tribe gathered with him to listen to music. I spent 3 to 4 days a week with him on Grindstone Island, where he lived, along with, you know, I was the only person there then, but along with other people that were with him, so that he could be in an environment that was important to him. And so I had the privilege of walking with him, and not walking, we didn't walk a lot, but being with him until he died on August 9th. What's important about that is the spiritual lessons that came out of that for me. And again, they have to do with emptiness. One day we were arranging to go to Grindstone, and you only can get to an island by a boat. So I was supposed to meet Will at the marina and get in the boat. And I was saying, well, how about this? How about that? And I hear his voice saying, Khando, stop talking. Okay, yes, Will. And he said, you know, the world doesn't work that way. And, you know, well, we got to the boat, we all got to the island. And he proved to me that the world proved to me it didn't work that way, because when we were walking down the dock to get in the boat, Will slipped and fell in the water and went under. And the good news is it was pretty shallow, but he was weak so that he couldn't get his feet underneath him. And I was there, and working together, we were able to get him to, you know, to get him to a leaning position on the dock. Both of us looked like sea creatures. There was so much seaweed dripping off both of us from our little adventure in the water. And we just kind of sat there for a while. Is that me? You don't want me twice. So New York State. New York State, up near the Canadian. You can see Canada. One of the pictures I'll show you, you see Canada is the other side. Yeah. I told you, Alex, whenever I show up, technical stuff goes kaflooey.
It's Sunday. Every Sunday for the past 4 or 5 weeks, we've had technical difficulties.
We can just let go of the pictures and, yeah, don't worry about it. Stop. Too much energy. You know, when it's, so, seaweed. So we got to the boat, you know, and of course I'm like, I'm riding in a boat with a guy that's falling in the water and can't get out, and I can't drive the boat if something happens going across to the island. And I'm thinking, can I do this again? And then I just, thought about it for a couple of days and thought, well, he doesn't go to the island if I don't go to the island. So that's just the way it's going to be. And of course, Will didn't tell anybody because he didn't know anybody but any of the family to come rolling in and say, no, you can't go to the but the other thing, but one day he got really mad at me and yelled at me because I was doing something with his dog that he had told me a couple of times he didn't really want me to do, but since I thought it was helpful, I kept doing it. And the great lesson that was out of that, and for me, was that I had a lot of work to do in developing the wisdom to know what would truly be helpful. What would truly be helpful, and what I thought would be helpful was not always what would be offered, and to sit and to have more presence with that, and for that I will be eternally grateful. But the other thing that I heard throughout the weeks with him, a lot of people came to catch up with him, talk about old times, whatever. He did not let go of treatment until like 8 days before he died, so that, there was no notion that, Will is dying, but people came to see him knowing that it was pretty dicey, how long he would be with us. And what I heard constantly was the number of people he mentored and the number of people that said the greatest gift he gave them was they never experienced any judgment from him, any judgment at all. And I thought about these last 4 weeks when Khensur Rinpoche frequently encouraged us to practice and said, you all look scared, you all look tense, maybe and I'm thinking, oh, I don't have a clue what's going on here, and he said, but if you keep at it, little by little, and put some effort into it, it'll come. But neither Geshe-la, in translating for him, and since I don't know Tibetan, I never ever once heard the word should. Once in these 4 weeks. I heard encouragement. I encouraged how much it was of value, how much that without effort you wouldn't see much fruit, but I never heard the word should. And there's a communication person that died a long time ago, a guy named Marshall Rosenberg, that said that should is the most violent word in the English language. And that's what I heard from, that's what I saw from Will. And so that's a gift I'll carry forever. I wasn't with him the morning he died. I'd seen him about 12 hours before. And I've had the privilege of, I've never seen anyone leave with such a clear and peaceful mind. Now, this, and the other thing that I learned, and it's about, is, Geshe is always puzzled, has always been puzzled, and is still puzzled that when people die in the West, we're very busy. We have, we might, wait because you can't, it's very hard to leave a body for 3 days or whatever, but very quickly, life goes back to normal. You make arrangements with the funeral home, you do this, you do that. Within a week, you're back at work. But in Tibet, in 49 days, everything stops, and the community wraps around them, with meals and what, so that the family can do prayers and whatever it's going to do as they transition, just as their loved one is transitioning through the bardo, which can last up to 49 days. Well, that happened up there. Now, here's the big difference. They brought beer, but from the day Will died, his niece and family, nothing happened. They just stopped. The world stopped for them until September 3rd, when they had, quotes, the celebration of life, which was a damn big party, excuse my language. And what happened was, when you live on an island, everything has to come onto the island except water, and everything has to go off the island that's refuse, except for, paper and stuff that you can burn. Well, people just showed up and said, I'm here to get your recycling. I'm here to get your trash. We had to clean up for the party. We had to do some stuff. It was, and the expectation was not that these people should just pull it together and get back to work. That they could spend their time allowing the transition to happen. And it was such a gift to be part of that. So that, now that may not be sound connected to you, but it was the non-judgmentalness that I carried out of this. Even though he could, when he cleaned your clock, man. Just get out of the way. And then he apologized, and I'd say, in his case, I looked at him, I said, Will, you don't apologize, I learned something, thank you. But, and the thing that brings it back for me with Khensur Rinpoche is that in every moment he was here, at some point he talked about harmony. He talked about harmony, and that he saw this as a harmonious community, and he also knew that harmony took work. And what I want to say is that what I learned at the river, and Khensur Rinpoche reinforced for me, now obviously at 73 I should already know this, but slow learner, is that the ground, the ground out of which harmony is possible is letting go of my opinion, being non-judgmental, and being curious. Instead of deciding what, and that harmony does not mean we always agree. Because if we believe that everybody always has to agree, somebody's going to walk away from the situation feeling left out or lost. But harmony is disagreeing with kindness and some wisdom, and at least saying, for now, because nothing's permanent. What do you go? There you go. So I would like to, and one of the things that was very important to Donna was that people get to share a little bit about their experience with Khensur Rinpoche. And so I don't want to hog all the airtime, but I'm going to close with a Jataka tale, which is, if anybody, I think everybody here knows what Jataka tales are, but just in case, they're stories from Buddha's past lives when he was a bodhisattva. So there was a king, Brahmadatta, was in Benares, had well, of course, kings have lovely places to live in, big halls and great halls. And he looked up one morning, and in his big hall, the pillar was looking a little wobbly. And so he decided that I better replace the pillar, because if I don't replace the pillar, it could be unsafe for me and many others. So, of course, being a king and being royal, he had the royal forest. And so he sent his woodsmen to the forest to find a tree suitable to use to replace his pillar. Well, in this wonderful forest, there was a beautiful, beautiful old tree that was the home of a tree spirit or tree fairy, whichever word you want to use. And next to the tree that had been there was a clump of kusha grass that was the home of a grass spirit. And it was a gathering place in the forest because the branches were very large and extended, and it provided food and homes for many creatures. Well, they looked and they looked and the woodsmen were in the forest, and they looked and they looked, and they came upon this tree, and it was like, oh, this is perfect. But it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful, and it's the home to so many. We have to talk to the king about not cutting this down, even though it's the only tree we found. So they went back and talked to the king, and the king said, I'm sorry, but you got to do it. I need the pillar. Okay. So they went back and made offerings to the tree and told them that they were very, very sorry, but they would be back tomorrow to cut it down. Well, when the woodsman left, the tree spirit burst into tears and was crying. And the animals in the woods came and cried and attempted to console the tree spirit. And the kusha grass kind of quietly said, I got a plan, don't worry. But, here's this. So that night, it was not a very restful night. And the tree wept, the tree spirit weeps some. And the next morning, you could hear the woodsmen in the woods, coming as they made their way. But the kusha grass transformed itself, took on the shape of a chameleon, and went up the tree, winding around, making it appear rotten and full of holes. So the woodsman arrived and said, we couldn't have examined this tree very well yesterday. And this isn't we can't. And so they left the forest. And the tree just you know, burst into, the tree spirit just burst into happy, 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 happy tree song, and asked all the creatures to come back and rejoice with it. But the thing the tree fairy said spirit said to all the creatures when they were gathered is that never judge by the outsides or reputation or trappings or wealth or whatever. I don't think the tree spirit used all those words, but they're in the story. Where wisdom and help will come from. And then the Buddha said, I was the kusha grass, the grass spirit in the kusha grass in a past life. And the tree spirit was Ananda, my faithful servant. So I close with that in the sense of it coming together that the greatest, for me, I've decided that in my life, my greatest act of generosity can be to not trust my opinion and to not offer judgment, which I think is a great way to open up the floor to people sharing. And as Geshe would say, no expectation, and it's 11:24, partly technical difficulties, partly my being long-winded. But if people want to share, I'm happy and willing to kind of stay and people have all gotten a chance to share about these sacred days we've had and this sacred space we now share. And hope Khensur Rinpoche will come back and make more sacred. So anyone want to, and I think Linda wants people to use the mic.
Yes, so if you're in the Gampa, we'll bring the mic to you so that everyone can hear, including our folks online. And if you are online, if you're on Zoom, you can just raise your hand or get my attention. If you're on YouTube, you can type it in the chat. Anyone want to share? I know you do. It was an incredible experience for those days. Okay, I'll go first then. Oh, Monica, there you go. I was going to say Khensur Rinpoche's just joy in being here was contagious, and you could see it on his face and all the Sangha members' faces and everyone that was in the room. There was so much joy, and the joy that he brought was just went out to all of us. And I love that. You can see that in the pictures too.
And I think that it was watching Geshe smile, there was a picture here you didn't get to see of Khensur Rinpoche looking at Geshe smiling, and he's smiling back at Khensur Rinpoche. And it was an entire month for me in Guru devotion. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, and
Yep,
you have to hold it really close.
Okay, so for me, I was a late bloomer for taking refuge, and I decided to take refuge with Khensur Rinpoche, which I was at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, zooming in, and Linda knows all the ins and outs that I was going through. My husband holding the phone, doing my prostrations, people looking at me like, what is she doing? Walking into the airport and into the plane and trying to offer my kata and just typing in and letting Linda know the plane's moving, the gate has closed, we're moving away. I can see things just flickering, and next thing I know, Zoom is gone. And I thought, I didn't take refuge. after all of this. But when I finally got Wi-Fi, I had a text message from Donna saying that I had done everything necessary. So that was a great honor for me to take refuge with Khensur Rinpoche. But when we got back and actually got to see him and experience the amazing harmony and just everything at the center, I was just like, oh, it's just like coming home again. And that's how I feel.
Thank you.
There's so much to talk about Khensur Rinpoche. The entire month was also showing us the love he has for the Kadampa Center. He kept it open many times. Even at the end, he said, don't need to prostrate because it leaves the door open for me to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is, they were showing examples of how a true devotion to Guru is. It was all examples. You can see from getting up the steps, driving,
Putting his shoes on at the end with his hand on his head.
holding his hand. And what really was impressive was such a powerful being and yet so humble. His voice, his demeanor, not an atom of any arrogance or anything that you could even perceive that way. And that to me is really an embodiment of a true teacher and how lucky we are to have him. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Hemant. Yeah. Anyone else? Dr. Robbie, I'm going to put you on the spot. Geshe-la would. You don't have to share, no expectation, and do it anyways. No.
I don't have anything specific to add to that. It's just a completely joyful experience in every way. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do have one question. How cold is the water in the St. Lawrence River?
Okay.
When you swim?
Well, actually, I'm crazy, but there's a couple of us that are crazy. I start swimming usually when it's about 55, 58. But I do wear a little wetsuit jacket and I'm only in for 10 minutes. I do consider it quite the purification practice. But usually by July, it's up to 72, 74. But most pools in Raleigh are kept at between 80 and 82. So, but you can see 10 feet down. So I really like that part. Yeah, I know, you got it. So there you go. I've actually even gotten some people who really like warm weather to get in the cold water. Anyone else before we close? Hi. Thank you.
I also had the opportunity to take refuge for the first time with Khensur Rinpoche, and I'm greatly thankful for that, for someone who has such a great background to do that with. But what I'm really thinking about and what I'm really thankful for are all the people who created this space. From what I understand, it was just a small group of people working in the basement that eventually brought Geshe-la here, that eventually brought Khensur Rinpoche here. So I'm thankful for those people. Thank you. Whoever you are, I don't really know.
Many
But I look forward to
causes
meeting
and
you all.
conditions, yes, absolutely. Some still here, some have moved on to other activities or, places in their lives. So, yeah,
Usually
amazing.
It's like a lotus that they took care of and it eventually bloomed.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Okay. Well, we usually close with dedication prayers, but and some long life prayers. But what I'd like to do today is to just remind myself, because I didn't do it at the beginning, which was to set an intention that whatever I say could be of some benefit to my mind stream and the mind stream of people listening, and for all sentient beings. and then to dedicate that, whatever this gathering today, we've created merit together in saying these prayers and in sharing this time, and dedicate it for the benefit of all sentient beings. But what I'd just like to do is take just a couple of minutes. We'll just, clock in front of me. Just take a couple of minutes and to sit quietly and do a practice of your choice, including just gratitude for this amazing time that we've all had together, and that will resonate through the life of this community for a very, very long time to come. And for all of us, with all the seeds that have been planted, resonate through whatever journey our mind streams go on. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll go have fun, because it's going to be one of the few days it's not going to be raining. Thank you. I'm going to bear with you for 1 minute. I'm going to tell you a short anecdote about Buxar, which is where Khensur Rinpoche came when he was in Dharamsala at first, and then they were housed at Buxar. The lamas, and Lama Yeshe was there, Lama Zopa was there. Lama Yeshe took care of Lama Zopa, who was really quite young at the time. But Lama Zopa tells a story about that, they didn't have anything to do water bowl offerings. And so there, I don't know if this is going to date me, but if anybody remembers when you used to get shots and they, used the syringe and they took it out of a little glass bottle with a rubber, well, they would find those and they would get the top off of them. And that's what they used for their water bowls at times. And the other thing that didn't get mentioned that people may know, it's where Gandhi was imprisoned and his followers. So not only were there prisoners in World War II from the British, but had a rich history of spiritual practice even before the many monks from Tibet were there and stuff. So, but I've always remembered that about the making do and still doing the offering. And that I just find that extraordinary as I invest in what I refer to as my Buddha bling, this water bowl, that's there. And the Dharma is possible without any of it. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you for your patience with me and in listening. And please, I rejoice in your showing up because, my gosh, we all need a good rest.
Thank you, Khando. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone. See you soon.